Just want to let you lot know that if you're watching this clip on the Fozcast YouTube channel, the full episode is now available to watch exclusively on Spotify, and it's free. Come on. Okay, Tim, welcome to the Fozcast. I'm just trying to set this scene here for the listeners and the viewers at home. Okay, so it's the 5th of July, 2014. It's the World Cup in Brazil. It's the quarterfinal against Costa Rica. The game finishes after extra time. Penalty shootout is about to happen. And then the manager calls you over. Mate, you're coming on. What on earth is going through your head right now?
It's a good opener, I suppose. But yeah, it was a mad situation, clearly. Only the goalie coach and the manager knew about it just before the game. So I wasn't allowed to tell any of my teammates.
So did you know about this?
Yeah. So the goalie coach pulled me just before the game, before we went to the stadium. And he said, right, if it gets to penalties, you've been unbelievable. You've been pushing hard for the number one spot. And I kind of thought it was one of those, you're doing well and keep going kind of things. And he said, if it goes to penalties, we're seriously considering, if we've got the amount of subs, to put you on and swap you and Sillissen. And I kind of go, yeah, good one. We're playing Costa Rica. It's not gonna go to the penalties. But then, like you said, when we hit extra time, we hit the crossbar, we hit the post, then the nerves started kicking in a bit, to be fair.
Like that, and Sillissen didn't know?
No. So when I started warming up, the boys the goalies don't really go for runs or anything. So I looked over to the goalie coach and he said, well, whatever it takes for you to get warm, you need to get yourself ready. So off I went, put my little vest on and started running. And the boys were like, Tim, what's going on with you? Where are you going? Like, what's happening here? And I said, I'll tell you later kind of thing. And off I went, did my little warm-up. And then I think it was like 4 or 5 minutes to go. And I ran over and I said to Van Gaal, I said, well, I just took the bib off. I said, let's go and do it then. And he said, well, go on in.
So at this point then, so you enter the pitch, okay?
Yeah.
Never been done before.
No.
Never ever has a
in
manager.
In the history of the World Cup, this has never been done.
In the history of the World Cup. So you're on the pitch. Are you nervous? Because in penalties, normally for a goalie, they're not really nervous, are they?
Well, I had to get on before the final whistle. So they had to sub for me.
Of course.
So that run, that 50-yard run, my legs were gone. They were shaking. And there was still a minute to go. And I was like, let that ball just stay on the other side of the pitch, please. And so that was a nerve-wracking
Did you
minute.
touch it?
No.
Thank God for that.
Yeah, just like, but they weren't kicking the ball out initially. So to get me on the pitch, I was like, come on, like, make a foul or anything like that. So it was lots of emotions. But then I had quite a long time before the actual penalties started. So then I think the moment when I really realized what was happening was the spider cam. And I see myself on the big screen when I walked to the goal. And I was like, right, this is go time now. This is serious.
Had you prepped for the penalty takers? Did you know which way you were going to go?
When the goalie coach pulled me before we went, clearly I got my laptop and started. We did the night before. As always, we did the homework with the goalkeepers. And then when I got the shout before we went to the stadium, obviously I went through it again. Because they had a shootout in the round before.
Yeah.
So I kind of just went, right, pressure penalties, where did they go? And obviously...
So when you say pressure penalties, you revert to when that player is feeling all of this expectation and the pressures on him, the watching world is there, they stick to a set penalty that they know and they can trust, right?
Yeah.
And that is something that you can pick up on and try and second guess a little bit.
Yes. Obviously, the best in the world, they can swap sides. Like you're talking to Ronaldos, the Hurricanes, like they look at you and go, just go on your line.
They're doing the opposite to you. They're second guessing you.
Yeah,
kind of.
they're playing with you.
Yeah.
But the ones who are nervous, the centre halves, the defensive midfielders, they're the ones you can get into. And I think that's, for me, I knew when you look in a couple of the eyes of the players I managed to save, the pressure, the whole country the pressure was on.
Yeah.
So I felt like I was winning that battle.
Because, do you know what? Sneakily, there is a bit of pressure on you, isn't there? So Sillissen must have been half gutted. Well, not even half gutted. I bet you he would have been absolutely heartbroken. But then for you to replace him in that situation, there is some expectation because the manager's doing it for a reason. Yeah. So he's expecting you to pull off a few saves here, isn't he?
I was fuming with myself because the first penalty, I waited too long.
Yeah.
So I had a feeling where it was going, but I was like, no, wait till the last moment. And I was kicking myself because I was like, this could be maybe the only one I could save. Like, at the end of the day, if they're putting a top corner, you're not getting there. So everything went out the window. I was like, right, I'm just going to, what I feel I'm going. And luckily, I managed to dive 5 times the right way. But you're right. If I come on and I dive 5 times the wrong way and we lose, the whole country is like, yeah, good one.
So you were at the same World Cup, man. You were number 2 to Joe Hart.
Yeah.
At the same World Cup, and you'd played actually against Costa Rica.
Yeah. So Costa Rica actually won our group. We had a.
Did they win the group?
Won the group. We had a tough group. So we had Uruguay, Italy, and Costa Rica. And Costa Rica won the group. They were a serious team, weren't they? So there are no pushovers whatsoever. For them to get to a quarter final of a World Cup is some achievement.
Who was their boy up front? Do you remember?
Joel Campbell.
Well done.
Joel Campbell.
So do you remember at the World Cup, because this was big news, Tim coming on, what was the kind of chat with you and Joe and Fraser? And
all the goalies, like the goalie union at the time was like, you can't do that. You cannot do that. Like he's played every minute of every game so far, Silas. You can't then go and bring another goalkeeper on just for the penalty shootout. And after it happened, so you're the hero. So bearing in mind, Silason's done really well. He's played, but the game finishes. You say 2 penalties. It was Brian Ruiz's penalty and Michael Umana. But you're the hero now. All the cameras are on you. All the lights are on you. What was that like after the game?
Yeah, funny you should say that, because the next morning we got called into Van Gaal's penthouse in the hotel, and I didn't realize when Sillissen came off, he kicked all the water bottles and he was fuming. Rightly so. I would have been the same. So anyway, then Van Gaal pulled me, Michel Vorm, Sillissen in the penthouse, and he said, right, he said, if you ever disrespect me like that one more time, you will never play for me again. So I'm sitting going, oh, happy days. Like, here we go. Like, kick off. Do say something here.
Throw a glass at him now.
I was like, go on, say something here. This could be me in the semi-finals here. And and he literally took it and he said, yeah, sorry, Gaffer, I would never do this again, kind of thing. I'm thinking, you absolute melt. But
and was he okay with you?
Yeah, he was. Clearly, as a goalkeeper, we know this is the time to shine for us. So if he's done amazing in the tournament, got us to the quarterfinal, extra time comes, as a goalie, you subconsciously already think about penalties. You know it's coming. And this is the time for a goalkeeper to be that hero. So he was fuming, but happy, obviously, to progress to the semis. So yeah, that was an interesting conversation. But he was willing to do it again in the semis. But unfortunately, we used all the subs.
Got you.
And the rule hadn't changed in that World Cup.
So it was 3 then, was it?
Yeah, and I think Van Persie was injured with 30 minutes to go. So he had the choice either putting me on for Sillissen or a fresh Huntelaar for 30 minutes. So I got why, but I was like, oh, Messi semi-final. Yeah, it was heartbreaking, because we went out with penalties.
Thanks everybody for watching. We hope you enjoyed this clip of the Fozcast. If you would like to watch the full episode, it is now available exclusively on Spotify for free.